In this week's video fishing forecast, we have an update on the Coastal Kayak Clash standings. Another cobia landed in New England, this time around in Massachusetts waters. Striped bass feeding on mackerel off Boston. Mixed bag action in Rhode Island, including blackfish, stripers, porgies, and more. Excellent bottom fishing in Long Island Sound. Tuna frenzy out at the canyons, and much, much more. Let's check it out.
The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
Hey there, Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine with this week's web video fishing forecast for New England. Well, as we pass the halfway point in the Coastal Kayak Clash, which runs through the end of November, the leaderboard didn't change too much this week, with just a single fish making the cut, as a bunch of the entries that we did receive didn't break the top three for their respective species. So, of course, we're only going to log them if they make the leaderboard, so there's no need to submit a fish if it doesn't meet the top three on the current standings. I'll get to a bit more of that in just a moment, as there is one exception to the rule. So the only change we did have this week was with a new second place blackfish of 19.5 inches landed by New Jersey subscriber Bob Gross. Now keep in mind that the August fish of the month is the sea robin, meaning that the largest sea robin entered throughout the month of August will win the participant a $100 gift certificate to yakattax.com. And this gets me to what I was saying before, that the only time you don't need to meet the top three to submit a fish is if you're submitting the entry for fish of the month consideration. Well, to date, for August, we haven't received a single sea robin entry, which means that there is a $100 Yak Attack gift card just hanging out there in the wind for someone to jump on it. So I'm sure some of you Coastal Kayak Clash participants are catching sea robins, but you're not photographing them, entering them, because they're not going to make the top three. But no worries, for August, you can still take a picture of it and submit it. And of course, as we've noted before, the Coastal Kayak Clash does not require a fish to be harvested. You can release the fish if you so choose to do so, although I will tell you that sea robin make excellent table fare, but nonetheless, if you don't want to go through a process of cleaning them, you're more than welcome to just catch it, photograph it, let it go, and then submit your entry. So with the final day of August almost upon us, let's see if we can get a few sea robin entries in the book before the month closes out next week, because I'd hate to have to take that gift card myself and outfit my kayak a little bit more. All right, now moving on into the reports. Begin up in Massachusetts. We had another oddball catch this week as Patrick Lakia landed a 6.6 pound, 28.5 inch cobia while fishing from his kayak over the weekend. Now, he was targeting black sea bass and porgies with jigs when he hooked into something that he knew right from the start felt a bit different. Well, a short time later, after a pretty good battle, the unexpected catch was swimming boat side, and with a little help from a fellow kayaker nearby, he was able to land the fish, and I'm sure he had some fine eating to follow. With a couple of cobia catches, now one made on the kayak here in New England, maybe we'll just have to add a little cobia division to next year's Coastal Kayak Clash. We'll have to wait and see there. Staying up in Massachusetts for another minute, I received an email report from subscriber and viewer here at YouTube, John Rosenfeld of Hingham. He said he was fishing with his wife, Laura, and they headed out about 2 miles east of the B buoy, and they were in 200 feet of water looking for haddock. Now, they weren't having too much success. They gave it a shot and decided to head back into the harbor, where they got into a bunch of mackerel, or not a bunch, a few mackerel nonetheless, around the harbor islands in Boston. And they ended up getting into a pretty good pick of striped bass, landed 5 fish from 24 to about 30 inches. All in all, a pretty good day. But what John did note that the mackerel were a little bit more difficult to track down this time, been a little easier to find them in the past couple of weeks, but nonetheless, he got on them and made a pretty good go of it in the end. Now remember, if you want to contribute a report, whether it's a video or a photo to go along with the report for these weekly videos, you can send me an email. It's tlapinski@thefisherman.com, just like John did here, and I would love to feature you in an upcoming video. And of course, photos are also considered for use in the print magazine of The Fisherman. So send those photos, videos, and reports on in. We are sure to use them. Now, bridging the gap from Massachusetts to Rhode Island, another contributor from a subscriber here, TJ Kopecki, has a video for us once again this week talking about the East Bay action. Take it away, TJ.
Thanks, Toby. Hey guys, nice to be reporting again here for the East Bay area, Narragansett Bay. Had an outing on last Sunday. Things fared pretty well. Lots of fluke to 25 inches. We had sea bass. We had scup. We had a couple of dogfish. We had some sea robins. That's all that trash fish you're going to catch while you're fishing on the bottom. Mainly using bucktails with some gulp. Other reports are on the bay that I heard of. Still bluefish everywhere off of Barrington Beach. Not to be repetitive about all these reports, but the fish are there daily. People are getting them with surf casting off Barrington Beach, all the way out to Naya Point into the Providence River, all around Prudence. There are some stripers, there are some albies, there are some bonita. So we got the pelagics, we got a lot of things coming into place really well into the bay right now. It's all due because of all this bait that we have. We have lots of bait, peanut bunker, rain bait, maybe some bay anchovies mixed in. There's just a lot of stuff going on. And I hope you guys are getting out there to fish. And real quick this week, and we'll catch you next time. Tight lines.
Thanks a lot, TJ. Looks like you got a pretty good bite, some steady action going on in your neck of the woods. I might just have to join you one of these days. We'll see if we can arrange that and get a live video put together. But in the meantime, sticking in Rhode Island, the summer blackfish season in the Ocean State is open right now with a 3-fish bag limit, 16-inch minimum, and that runs from August 1 to October 14 for that limit. Now, keep in mind that in Rhode Island, as well as up in Massachusetts, there is a private boat 10-fish possession limit on blackfish. Now, this is regardless of the total number of anglers on board, and of course for hires are excluded from this. It's just private anglers. So that 10 fish limit maximum per boat when you are blackfishing Massachusetts and Rhode Island. And talking about those summer tog in Rhody, Ralph Kraft of Crafty One Customs over in Portsmouth. He sent me over a photo of this really nice blackfish landed by one of his regular customers, Ryan Pimentel. Now, this 10.58 pound tog was one of several double-digit blackfish that have already been weighed in at the shop this summer, so it goes to show there is already a good warm weather blackfish bite going on in Rhode Island. You don't have to wait for the end of the season to get in on those bruiser tog. Moving on into Connecticut. Bottom fishing is probably your best bet in the Sound right now, with a good variety of bottom dwellers being caught. And of course, Captain Greg of the Blackhawk has been hammering the sea bass and porgies, and even been getting some cod, stripers, and even a couple of bluefish mixed in for good measures. And it really depends on where they set up on a given day or what trips they're running. They're obviously running daytime bottom fishing trips. They're doing some evening twilight trips, mixed bag, what have you. And like all of the party boats right now, Captain Greg, all the other boats are only taking clients, by reservation only. So you either have to call them directly or visit their website to book your trip. They're not doing any walk-ons right now due to COVID-19 safety precautions. Moving on down the Sound towards Stamford, Fisherman subscriber Mark Alamina checked in once again this week, as he's been doing throughout the season. This time he was fluke fishing with his buddy Frank Pelicione. They were using live snapper blues and managed just a single keeper for the duo on the trip, but it was a nice one, a solid 8-pound, 26.5-inch fluke. Mark noted that the big fluke are still pretty tough for him to find in the Sound this season, as they've been the last couple of years. His best success has been coming on larger baits, like a whole squid, live snapper blues, fished in deep water along the edges of the structure. So find that hard to change in the structure, put a livey down there, and you're likely to hook up. Just keep in mind, if you're using snapper blues, as I've noted before, there's new bluefish regulations in effect for 2020. Regardless of the size, whether it's snappers, choppers, doesn't matter. Whether you're going to keep them to eat, whether you're going to keep them for fluke bait, big ones for shark or tuna bait, whatever the case may be, it is a 3-fish limit on the bluefish, so please keep that in mind. And then last up this week, my buddy Tommy Tsunami Fusini made a run east for some tuna action over the weekend with his buddy Sean Barham, and it was a birthday present for Sean, and Tom came through big time. Now, Tom was playing around with the Tsunami Carbon Shield 2 rods, matched up with a Salt X 6000, and got into a really good tuna bite about as close as he would tell me 30 miles east of Montauk, and they ended up boating a pile of both bluefin and yellowfin tuna on jigs. At times they had doubles going, and they were taking breaks between each other because they just had such consistent action. They both put several fish on the deck and been eating well ever since, although I'm still waiting for my delivery of sushi. Perhaps it'll come this week. All right, well, there you have it. I'm Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine, wishing you tight lines if you head out onto the water this weekend.
Steigercraft boats, built by people who fish our waters. Serious English choose Steigercraft for their 40 years of boat building experience right here in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Visit steigercraft.com for a dealer near you.